Hello,
How you doing?
and welcome to episode 13.
15. 14. 14.
14.
We were talking about it being 15.
Hold on. Yeah, 14. Okay, thinking more clearly now. So,
Apparently you can save $4 on a value deck ticket at the Athletics if you give them that can.
I think that's stupid when people do like cans as coupons, because like you walk like Santa Cruz with your... It's like a sticky can. So like we did that youth trip about one time, and we're walk up, there's like 20 kids, well not quite, but it was close. There's like 20 people, we're all, here's our cans, and then like they just have all these like sticky cans.
What do they even do with them? Do they just recycle them and cash in the profit?
I don't know. So this episode, we are talking about the Civil War. And we, you know what, we kind of decided, like, last week was very random, we're kind of out of it. And I've kind of just decided, like, I'm not really sure where Geek Church is going to go. I got kind of bored with the structure we were doing, because the whole idea is it came off of, like, the conversations that I used to have, like, back in Workaholic Video. We've been having them a lot here, where we're just like, you know, before we do tri-tip or something, we just start talking about different stuff. And I feel like Geek Church has been a little too structured. It's been a little bit like, let's try to make something out of something that's not really there. So I feel like we've been, you know, taking coal, we've been trying to make diamonds, and instead we're just getting, like, you know, when you're a kid and, like...
All you have is pencil lids?
No, like, you know when you're a kid and, like, did you ever get in schools where, like, you took the coals and you put whatever kind of chemicals on them and, like, 3 months later it grew, like, these, like, cool little, like, crystal things, like, different colored crystals? I feel like that's what we got, you know, like, it was pretty, it was cool looking, but wasn't diamonds. So last week was random, and right now I'm gonna kind of be lazy with it. And I'm not gonna try to have any structure to it. I'm not gonna care about the segments. You can just cut it up like last time. I'm not gonna be too worried about it. And I'm just thinking, is what I'm doing right now. I'm just thinking about what Geek Church needs to be. What?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. So, this is kind of like I don't know, I just want to have fun with it. And I'm kind of, to be honest, I did the idea of Geek Church because I thought it would be amazing, cool idea, and I've gotten kind of bored with it. So I'm just going to, for the next few episodes, as I'm
You can get a new toy. Play with. Boy with the old toy.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to change the show. I like the show. We're at 14. We're almost at 15 episodes, so that's pretty impressive. Every other show I've ever tried in the past has been like episode 0 and episode 1, or episode 0 and 2 and 1 and 2, or, you know, even First Encounter, which I haven't quit. I just haven't done an episode in like 4 months. Is like on episode like 6, but I skipped episode 5. But then episode 1 was actually episode 0. So I don't even know how many I have. I started that show's confusing. Yeah, but yet episode 6 is the current episode, and there's only 4 episodes. That show, I don't know what I was doing, man, with that show. But anyways, it's not done. I mean, I'm not done with it. I'm still doing it. I just haven't done an episode in like 4 months. So, but this show, we're much more consistent. I mean, we were late last week, and we'll be late this week. And we'll probably be late the next couple of weeks. But, you know, it's still, we're doing it every week, and we're not giving up on it. I'm just going to give it some room to breathe. So anyways, this week we're talking about Civil War, and I'm going to apologize ahead of time. Because generally, we do this show, and it's directed towards you, the viewer. But we're talking about the Civil War this week, and we will probably forget you're here. So this episode's really going to be less of a show and more of you eavesdropping.
It's more for us anyways, because we're geeky and we like talking about geeky things, and we're going to talk about geeky stuff.
Yeah, and so we're just going to talk about the Civil War, and we have no planned spiritual principle, which I think that's what was bothering me about it, is the show wasn't organic. I felt forced. It was like, oh, I have to teach Sunday school, and I don't really know what to teach about. I'm going to find some Bible story. I'm going to kind of force an idea, a principle out of it. I'm not really studying the story. I'm just going to make something up and make it sound good because I got to go teach this thing. I feel that that's what we're doing. So let's try this. Let's just talk about it and see if the stuff comes up, which I know at least one issue will, because I'm going to raise the issue, and let it be more natural. And it'll be much more the original idea. So let's get this thing started. And okay, so Civil War. So Abraham Lincoln. Okay, so he decides...
I don't know, I guess Abraham Lincoln would be our, like, Tony Stark, huh?
Tony Stark would be the Abraham Lincoln, but I don't think Tony Stark has...
He'd be more like the General Grant.
I don't know. Anyways, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the Marvel Civil War, which is a few years old now, but it's still like the coolest thing that's happened in comic book history for like such a long time, in my opinion. Don't you hear me have brand new pants and they already start doing that?
What is this?
The whole unraveling from being walked on the ground. So anyway, Civil War. How do we want to start this thing off, man?
I think we probably should start it off on the road. The Civil War.
Well, we don't want to give like an overview, but we'll assume that they know what we're talking about. Like, I don't know, what were your thoughts on it? Like, I know we both really enjoy it. Okay, what were we talking about earlier? Let's start there. We were talking about, okay, who had a better side. We were talking about like how Tony Stark had better, it seemed like he had better characters on his side, but then you brought up the fact that Cap had more loyalty, which he kind of betrayed, but he had more loyalty, and because people were deserting Tony Stark left and right. And I started to say, before I said, well, let's wait for the show, is because it was a slippery slope, right? So Captain America stands against it, right? As, no, this is wrong. I'm not going to go for it. I'm not quite sure. We'll talk about this as it comes out. I'm not 100% sure where I stand with the original breaking point. But of course, things quickly go crazy, like Spider-Man. Like I think I kind of empathize with Spider-Man because he starts off like, yeah, I mostly agree with it. And then as Tony kind of got crazy with things, he's like, whoa, this is way too far. This is wrong. And he jumps sides. So that seems to be the reason he starts to lose a lot, because it starts off as, whether you think it's unconstitutional or not, it was the law. It was the Congress or Senate or whoever passed it. I don't remember. It was Congress, right?
Both, yeah.
So it got passed. President signed it, and it becomes law that you have to register if you have superpowers. Which, whether you agree or disagree, it was the law. Whether it was a just or unjust law, it's the law. And so a lot of heroes were like, "Well, we're superheroes, so it sucks, but we have to uphold the law," kind of thing. But by the end of the Civil War, the ethical slide, it was like a sliding slope. It gets really slippery. And that was Captain America's point from the beginning of, if you start with this, where is it going to lead? And it definitely led to some pretty dark places, like,
the Thunderbolts.
The Thunderbolts, yeah, and using villains and trying to control them with explosives in their brains, which in the game, it takes a completely different turn than in the actual thing. But we'll talk about the game next week. This week we're just talking about the comics. The Thor, trying to clone Thor to harness his power. Just a lot of things.
That was a mess. I cannot believe that was whoa. He killed Bill Foster, who's Goliath, just like lightning right through the chest, killed him instantly.
So see, it really changes. It's like the ends justifies the means, but in this case, it didn't work. It's like, he's trying to do these things because Cap's team's growing, right? They're getting better, they're getting more organized, they're getting all this stuff, they start to win more. So rather than just saying, we're essentially super cops, we need to enforce this, he starts doing very immoral, and
shaky
things to try to win, because for the better good, but then things get crazy. Now, here's my thing, right? I'm a little annoyed with Captain America. Because, first off, and this is, okay, so the first thing I'm going to say is more of like from a writing point of view. And the second thing is more of like from his actual, his character, Steve, like his character as a person. So first up, I think, and we've had this conversation recently, about the Ultimate Universe for Marvel, and how we were talking about how, like, when it first came out, I blew it off, and I was like, whatever, that's for like wannabe new people who don't know about comics, who want to get into comics because they thought the movie was cool. But we were talking about how I recently looked into them. You've got the right here. This is what started the conversation, is the guide to the characters. I've recently been getting into them, especially with the Brian Hitch. I got his art book, like I talked about last episode, so I was kind of looking into more of his stuff. When they first came out, I could care less about the Spider-Man and X-Men stuff. I did read the Ultimates, which were amazing. So I'm liking it more and more, and I'm now going to go back and catch up on all of it. But this is what we're talking about between the difference. I think they do a much better job at Captain America's character, because right now I feel that, at least as the time of Civil War, I don't think they were writing him very well, because he was too mixed up. He's supposed to be, so he's Captain America. He's a captain in the U.S. Army, is the idea, right? He's the super soldier, so he's a government worker. But then, this is what we were talking about the other day, it's like, but he doesn't kill. which is weird. It's like, how are you fighting Nazis and alien Nazis in this World War II and not killing, right? And how we talk about in the Ultimate, he kills people all the time because he's a soldier.
Well, it's kind of like in the Civil War. There's even a part where right after the Thunderbolts are released, and they kick the crap out of Captain America's team because
they jump them, right?
Yeah, they didn't see it coming. A bunch of them get captured, Daredevil being among them. A bunch of Captain America's team gets captured. Well, Cap is there, and he's got his body all up in a bunch of stuff getting repaired.
You come out in that like armored truck thing, right?
Yeah, just before that.
Okay.
And so he's like, well, now what do we do? A couple of villains, they were like, I don't even think they were C-listers. I mean, I'd never seen them before.
Yeah.
Come in, and Punisher's in there with Captain America, and villains come in, and there's like, hey, we're here to join your team. And Punisher pulls out a couple of guns and shoots them both straight through the head, like not even a second thought. Pow, pow. Captain America beats the snot out of the Punisher, and he's like, we don't kill people. Heroes don't kill. And he's like beckoning like the Punisher to fight back because they're like fighting, and he's like, not against you because of whatever, but...
Yeah, but see, I don't understand, like, to me, it's like, he's like this war character, but then he doesn't kill, and then he's supposed to represent, like, America, but then yet he rebels and leads a rebellion against America, which you could argue, okay, well, look at the founders of America. They rebelled against England as America was done. I think he's a confused character right now, and I don't know about since they brought him back. No, he's back.
Oh, yeah, he's dead.
And he actually never died. It turns out that bullet didn't kill him. It displaced him in time. So he went back and relived all of his history for a while. Which I don't understand.
I hate time travel so
yeah, I'm all for, like, oh, he wasn't really dead, but from what I read, they did a really bad job of it. Like, oh, her bullet didn't actually kill him. It knocked him out. I think the way it was worded was something like, it knocked him out of sync with time or something like that. And so I know there's an entire book, like, he basically went and like relived all of his history. And ironically, he comes back by, Red Skull brings him back so he can have his body. Because the Red Skull's, like, his consciousness is something, yeah.
Captain America's body.
Red Skull brings him back, has his body, beating the crap out of Bucky as Captain America, who's the new Captain America. So it's like old Captain America, which is actually Red Skull. He's about ready to kill him, basically, and something happens, and he, like, comes back. But anyway, so that's a whole different issue. So I think he's a little bit of a confused character. So that's from the writing
whole
point of
thing
view.
from the beginning was Maria Hill, who was the acting S.H.I.E.L.D. director because of Nick Fury's absence since something. I don't remember why he left. Goes up to him and he's like, well, this is the law, and Captain America already is registered. It's not like he doesn't want to.
He's in the military.
Registered.
He's not even a superhero as much as he is, like, and they really bring that out in the Ultimate, is he's a military, he's like a super soldier, and they really made him more of like the Superman type superhero, but he's soldier, he's registered with the government, he has to take orders to do what he has to do.
Doesn't do anything without Nick Fury's permission, but so she tells him that basically if somebody doesn't align or doesn't register, then we're going to hunt him down and we're going to have to take him out.